Hi, I'm Professor Beck Strah.
And I'm producer Brit, and you're listening to Prison Breakdown.
2, 3, break!
Hate to spoil his fun, but we're gonna bust out of here.
2, 3, break!
I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
2, 3, break!
I can honestly say I'm a changed man. No danger to society here. God's honest truth.
2, 3, break!
I'm not leaving this cell. I'll get out my way. The right way.
2, 3, break!
Ahoy, dudes! Welcome back to another episode of Prison Breakdown. Hello, producer Brit.
Hello, welcome.
Greetings to you as well. I have an important question to ask you.
Yeah.
Can you rank your top 3 gums for me? Just brands of gum.
I'm not really a gum chewer, to be honest.
That's bullshit. I'm so upset right now.
I'm not a gum person. I don't know, I bought gum a little while ago because I'm like, maybe I should chew gum. It's something to do.
As a hobby, you bought gum?
Yeah. I was looking for a new hobby. So
You could have been like an Altoids guy. Instead, you went gum, even though you didn't think you liked gum.
Yeah, all right. I guess I can't have hobbies now. Great.
I suppose it's healthier than a vape, maybe.
Yeah. So I was looking at gum and I think, was it Extra? Is that the stuff that comes in like the little thing you can put in like a cup holder?
Oh yeah. Oh, well, I think there's a bunch of different kinds. They've got the icebreakers. They've got the orbits. All the different kinds have that now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess if, you're on the road a lot and chewing a lot of gum, you need that cup holder gum dispenser.
I honestly love the format of gum for a cup holder. That was brilliant. Whoever thought of it.
Was it?
Yeah, don't you think so? It's more car available. Otherwise, I'm like searching my pockets. I'm searching the interior console, glove box. Where's my gum?
Mm-hmm.
I'm screaming at passerby.
Yeah, I do that anyway.
Yeah, obviously.
Right.
They deserve it.
Of course.
So anyway, you bought gum. How'd you feel about this gum?
I ate like 4 pieces and I was like, you know what? Maybe gum's not for me. Maybe, I gave it the old college try. And then like when I was cleaning out my apartment to move, I got like, a couple things of gum and I'm like, this is just old gum. And I just tossed it in the trash because I don't know, gum doesn't like go bad, but like, I'm not going to eat that gum. I'm not going to chew that gum.
Should have mailed me that gum.
Do you eat gum?
No, I don't eat gum. I chew gum.
I know, but like it is a consumable.
I mean, you don't drink it; you chew it.
I mean, you can
eat
it. You don't. Not everyone spits it out. Some people eat it. I eat it.
Yeah, but those people are freaks.
I'm a freak.
I know you're a freak. That's why I can say to you.
I'm a freak.
You're a fucking freak.
I'm the freak of the week. Eating that gum, doing that freaky shit.
When Grandma was still alive, she gave me like some of the worst kinds of gum. Like it would be like Tony Hawk grape, and I'd be like, "Huh, what's this?" Ugh. It was one of the worst kinds of gum. The very worst kind of gum I've ever had is when we were much younger. We had around our home, we had ginseng gum, and it had a picture of a root.
God,
on it.
I remember. Didn't was it either? I think Grandma bought us that gum, and it was like the worst stuff ever. Or maybe it was our parents, but they bought it in like a Costco size, so like it was just ubiquitous and like always around, in like I think in like the bottom drawer of your bed.
Yeah.
Like
I remember like opening drawers, and they bought us like a pallet of this stuff, and I'd be like opening drawers to look at clothes or something, and there'd just be gum everywhere. It was gum shouldn't be everywhere like that. Maybe that's why you don't like gum.
Yeah, maybe the ginseng gum turned me off from gum. You might be right. That stuff was vile.
What if we made like a gum conversion therapy? I'm into this.
What?
It's for people who don't like gum to make them like gum.
Oh, I see.
What did you think I was talking about?
I don't know. It's like if you chew enough gum, maybe you're not queer anymore.
No, it's I'm specifically aiming toward gum haters to make them gum likers because this is a pro gum podcast.
Okay, not the homosexuals and bisexuals.
No. I'm slowly trying to shift this podcast into us just discussing a different gum every week.
Oh, okay.
It's much easier than doing the research.
What's up with blackjack gum? You ever had that stuff?
No, I've seen it, and it seems like an edgy gum, to be honest.
It's like it is the gum you definitely have on hand if you're into rockabilly.
And are you into rockabilly enough to have tried it?
No, I've tried it before, I think, but I think someone gave me a piece, and I was like, oh no, this is trash. I forgot what the flavor is. It's let's see, it's apparently black licorice. That's right, yeah, with anise and ginger. So it's like a kind of a spicy-ish black licorice, which could be good, but it's not. It's just not.
Nobody wants your herbal gum. Get it out of here.
Yeah, right? Like, no one wants a savory gum. Come on.
No, unless, I guess mint is technically an herb, but besides mint, besides maybe a cinnamon, not in all cases.
Cinnamon's a spice, though. Cinnamon's a spice.
Okay, you're correct. Nobody wants those gums, though. Yeah. This should be left on the palate.
No one's like an aromatic gum. Like, come on. Like, no one wants like garlic or ginger gum. Get that fucking shit out of here.
Yeah. Like a lavender gum. Forget about it. I'm out.
No, not for me. Not for me, dog.
All right. That's enough gum talk for now. Let's move to some news I can use.
All right. Let's get some
and
news.
Abuse. And peruse and cruise.
Cruise. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of conversion therapy.
Fresh news, hot off the razor wire.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and I chose kind of an editorial article today to read because I agree with this opinion. I don't know if you heard about this, but Kristi Noem, the head of the Department of Homeland Security, just went to El Salvador to visit the prison we talked about in other news.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So the CECOT, or the Terrorist Confinement Center, is talked about previously on the podcast. So on Wednesday evening, and this comes, by the way, from Vanity Fair, from E.C. Lepowski. So on Wednesday evening, a federal appeals court upheld a block on the Trump administration's plans to deport immigrants under a centuries-old wartime law, which the administration recently invoked to send planes full of Venezuelan migrants to a hellacious El Salvador prison. But just hours before the order came down, Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted a video from inside the same draconian prison, promising to send even more migrants there in the future. Quote,
I wish she was being held there.
I know. So, quote, if you come to our country illegally, this is one of the consequences you could face, Noem said, posing in front of a crowded cell filled with shirtless, tattooed prisoners. Quote, this facility is one of the tools in our toolkit that we will use if you commit crimes against the American people.
So, okay. So, I'm confused on how their jurisdiction allows for this and how, I don't know, human rights allows for this.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. I am utterly confused and horrified by this entire situation.
We also have the prison space in the United States to allow for this, to allow like detention. Not saying we should, but why on earth are we flying people to El Salvador for it?
Because we're not inhumane enough.
Yeah. So we have too many safeguards in the American system.
Right. Too much red tape when it comes to not abusing prisoners.
Yeah. Send them to a place where they have nothing to do and there's no due process and they are just considered amongst other gang members. It's disgusting.
No, it is. So the article continues here. Noam has staged a lot of photo ops since becoming head of the DHS. Her cowboy hat wearing horseback ride with ICE agents and leather jacket wearing flight on the Coast Guard aircraft have earned her the nickname Cosplay Christie in some circles. I like
cool.
that.
I dig. Yeah,
but even in the light of these stunts, Noam's trip to El Salvador's terrorist confinement center represents a remarkable doubling down by an administration currently locked in a legal battle over its decision to let 2 planes full of Venezuelan migrants proceed to El Salvador, despite a court order demanding that the planes turn around. Which is just like, I don't know if you followed that at all. It's just a clear violation, executive violation of the other branches of law. Just a real reach. And they're just going to keep doing this until it's normalized. That's what they always do.
So I got the gist of it on a recent episode of Chapo, I believe. And they were talking about how there was some semantics, like the judge ordered the plane turned around, and the Trump's lawyers argued, no, we're not turning the plane around. You made that argument too late in written law, even though the judge had already said it. It's just a semantics nightmare, and there should have been somebody going to jail for contempt.
Yeah. So, to give more context to it. So earlier this month, a federal judge in Washington ordered the Trump administration to temporarily halt deportations of Venezuelans under the Alien Enemies Act, a 1798 law that allows for swift deportation during times of war or invasion by other foreign governments. Are we in a war or an invasion by another foreign government that I'm not aware of?
The answer is absolutely not. And this is like the reachiest reach that's ever been reached.
Mm-hmm. So, in his remarks from the bench, Judge James Bodsberg said any plane, quote, that is going to take off or is in the air needs to be returned to the United States, however that is accomplished, unquote. But those planes did not return. The Trump administration has since justified letting the flights continue by insisting that it wasn't bound by the judge's oral remarks, only his written order. Earlier this week, the administration refused to share details about the flights in question, arguing that doing so, quote, would undermine or impede future counterterrorism operations, unquote. Terrorism? What are these people doing that's terrorism?
Yeah, and like, what are we doing about the domestic terrorists that we've had here? Mm-hmm. And they're not sending any domestic terrorists out there.
No, and on top of this, President Donald Trump has called for the impeachment of Judge Bodsberg. And also Elon Musk is offering $1 million prizes to people who publicly call out judges that they are aligned against the Trump administration.
Oh, very cool.
Very, very, very not totally illegal.
Not fashy.
Not fashy at all.
I've taken to calling him Donald Trump as protest.
Mm-hmm. Very good protest.
I think it's very clever. Remember when the Democrats held up those cute signs during Donald Trump's speech? I think it's like that. It's very good.
Make Donald Trump again. What's that going to do? Is that going to change his politics? I don't think so. I don't think it is. I don't think it's going to stop the backward slide into fascism.
I don't think he gives two fucks, and I don't think it matters for anything at all, ever. No. It never mattered.
No, it was just I don't know, Democrats trying to be funny at insults like Donald Trump is, and failing. So the article continues here. In the midst of all this, Noam's visit to the prison is a brazen provocation. In the video, Noam thanked the El Salvadoran government for allowing the U.S. to bring our terrorists here. The Trump administration has accused the people who were deported without court proceedings of being members of the Tren de Aragua gang, which is the new kind of big gang that every one on Fox News is talking about. It's the MS-13 of our time. It's just a carousel. It's constantly cycling between gangs, and it's always going to be a new scary one that we have to deport or imprison every single member of.
Yeah, is this another gang like MS-13 that has
Yeah.
like evolved out of U.S. foreign policy?
Most likely, yes. I mean, most international gangs do.
Awesome.
So, but the families of the men have increasingly stepped forward to vehemently deny the characterization. Some of the detained men who were deported and their families contend that they were deported basically solely on their tattoos, according to the reporting of Mother Jones. According to the Associated Press, during Noam's visit to the prison, guards instructed the men in the cell behind her to remove their shirts, revealing their tattoos. Meanwhile, as Noam was busy getting the shot, her department was reportedly also weighing whether to gut FEMA's role in disaster relief efforts back on the home front. So, Judge Boasberg has yet to rule on the underlying merits of the case, whether the Trump administration was justified in invoking the Alien Enemies Act to deport this group in the first place. But during the appeals court hearing about the temporary ban earlier this week, one judge in the case made her view of the administration's rushed actions clear, saying, quote, "Nazis got better treatment under the Alien Enemies Act."
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely sure they did because they're not teleported out of the U.S. to this hellhole.
No, we had Operation Paperclip. We literally invited Nazis here to work for us if they were of use to us.
Right. They've got good scientists, and we are continually the most malignant country post World War II.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got to be the heroes of World War II, so we got to use that political clout to make the rest of the world awful for the next 80 years so far.
Yeah, I forget where I heard it, but somebody saying like I don't want to move to another country because I wouldn't want to live somewhere that's subject to U.S. foreign policy. I think about that sometimes.
No, that's very clever.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I agree with that though. Like that sucks.
Yes, and with the new tariffs on like foreign-made automobiles, it's stuff like that. It's just constantly something. It's annoying. I'm infuriated constantly, and I have to just keep it at a low simmer.
Yeah, I feel you.
Low simmer,
baby. You got a stew going.
I always have a stew going inside. Let me ask you: do you think Kristi Noem is? How do you think she feels about the canine death penalty?
The canine death penalty, like killing dogs.
Yeah.
I'm sure she loves it when cops do it.
Oh, she killed a dog herself.
Oh,
right?
did she? Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay, she's a dog.
Oh,
killer.
Yeah. Yeah. She's a former governor of North Dakota who or South Dakota, one of the Dakotas, who killed her dog, and it was like the only news about her like last year when Trump was looking for a new VP, and people were like, "Oh, it could be her," but she killed her dog, and she wrote about it in her autobiography.
Amazing. Why would you ever admit to that? I mean, why would you first off, why would you kill your dog?
It was like her dog attacked something or someone or a thing, a bird or something, and they decided that this dog is no good. Took it, and she described like taking the dog and shooting the dog in the head. That was my memory of it.
She didn't take it to a vet to get put down humanely? She shot the dog in the fucking head?
Vigilante justice, bro.
Wow.
I'm shocked you did not hear this.
No. Like, hey, here, puppy, come here.
That's messed up. Yeah, she's a messed up person, and I love seeing her in the news. She's just doing the work for everyone.
Yeah.
Easy target.
Like
a dog.
Like a dog. Put him down like a dog.
Couldn't get elected dog catcher.
Wow. Okay. But could get appointed dog catcher by the Trump administration, definitely.
Yeah, excellent point.
Yeah.
We're punchy today.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So that's the news you can use.
And abuse and peruse and clues. Now, are you ready to move on to the main event?
I think we got a little business to take care of before we get to the main event.
Let me get up all in your business. What kind of business we got?
Oh, well, we need to give a shout out to our sponsor, the business side of this podcast.
Oh, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies.
Oh,
Hello,
you know
and
it.
thank you
Yeah.
for being our kind patron. We love you.
Definitely. The School of Justice Studies has so many offerings, including some new ones you were talking about that they're adding. What are they adding up in there? You said political science, I believe?
Poli-sci, anthropology, and sociology are all coming to our side, which is great
Anthropology,
because those
that's
are programs
interesting.
I support. I think those are cool ass programs.
Those are. And you're going to get to interact, I guess, more with like anthropology professors and stuff who we all know like to party.
Yeah, sociology professors, those are my folks.
Oh, yeah. But we also got degrees and graduate degrees and certificates in public administration, in cloud computing, in legal studies. We got forensic science.
Boom.
We got cybersecurity and networking.
Hell yeah.
How about digital forensics? That sounds pretty
Tight.
cool. We got a certificate in cyber specialists. We got
that's the thing.
public management. And of course, we have the School of Criminal Justice Studies, of which you are a distinguished member. And of course, last but very not least, the very best, leadership.
Whoa, that took me to space, Broham.
Oh, yeah.
We made it.
We did. So thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies.
Thank you, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies.
Indeed.
Shall we move on to talk about the topic du jour?
Indeed. One might say the main event.
Main event. Main event. Main event.
That really got me. Good luck ever topping yourself for that one. It's too good.
Yeah. I really kind of outdid myself for this episode.
Now, before we get started, I have to give this episode an explicit content warning in advance.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be talking about a little TNA today. A little Tim and Alan. This episode is Tim Allen Goes to Prison. Now, Brit, what's your experience with Tim Allen? What's your thoughts on old TA?
Well, let me answer your question with another question.
Does everybody know what time it is?
I was a child of the late 80s, and so I grew up in the 90s, and so safe family sitcoms, Home Improvement was always there. Parents wouldn't let me watch, Friends or Seinfeld at a certain age, but
Too risque.
yeah, they let me watch Tim Allen, old Tim Allen, and you know who loved to watch Tim Allen, and a person who I spent a lot of time at their house was
Our grandpapa?
our old papa, grandpapa. I think he saw a lot of himself in Tim Allen, being that they both like to work in a wood shop. They were both kind of grouchy guys who wore a lot of flannel.
There is some conceptual overlap in people.
Had 3 kids, a wife that the audience didn't like.
Who's the audience? Life?
Me.
For
Me.
grandma?
I watched a lot of Home Improvement growing up, but that was only my only real exposure to Tim Allen until I was probably like in my mid-teens. And then, of course, I watched Tim Allen on like comedy showcases and stuff because I was watching a lot of like Sam Kinison, and I was watching a lot of like 80s comedy at the time. Sam Kinison, Rodney Dangerfield, Andrew Dice Clay to some effect, and Tim Allen was always on these showcases too. And so I saw his stand up, and I'm like, how did he get a sitcom out of this? Like he's like not funny. His whole shtick is like, hey, men and women are different, you know. Women are so beautiful and nice, and they smell good. And men are like monkeys, you know. They're grunting and and it's crap like that. And I was just like, this is like hacky, even though he made it up. Like,
yeah, it's the hackiest shit now. I wonder if it was seen as some kind of revolutionary content at the time.
Yeah.
Now it is so done to death. And if you heard a 2025 comedian say it, it would be eye roll, next channel.
And it's the thing though, is like I found a lot of material that is considered hacky now, like funny from then, you know, like the Andrew Dice Clay, like the Sam Kinison. And that stuff is overplayed and no one really does it anymore. But I found it funny at the time, but I did not find Tim Allen funny. So I don't know if he was ever funny, to be honest. Like I think he was a big worker. I think he toured a lot, and you know, some people he connected with, because some people aren't funny and they find unfunny stuff to be humorous. So
that's true. Some people out there aren't funny and they like unfunny things that they think are funny.
Listen, like Impractical Jokers is like one of the biggest comedy shows on television.
To be fair, anytime you and I travel together and we have a hotel, we fucking love Impractical Jokers.
That's because it's the biggest comedy show on television, and it's the only thing on. It's either that or that thing on MTV, the
Carbonara Effect.
Oh, Carbonara Effect, definitely. Yeah. Gosh, there's only like 4 shows on TV anymore.
TV is a wasteland, and to see cable television it's kind of a treat at this point, really.
It's funny. Like it's like watching a bad movie, because like it's a treat that you're like, oh, I don't get to do this very often, because like
exactly.
Yeah, I don't get to see like bad local ads in between like terrible content that is like only funny to people from the exact middle of America. And like as you get further out from the epicenter, the less funny it gets to people.
Maybe Tim Allen is like born of that, though. That's what he is. Anyway, we digress. This episode is Tim Allen Goes to Prison. And Tim Allen is well known. He's been on TV since forever. He's always been TV's dad. And he has occasionally made some decent movies too. But old Tim hasn't had the coolest life. He was actually born in 1953 in Denver, Colorado, under the name Timothy Allen Dick.
I'm sorry. Can I stop you there? Can you name more than one good Tim Allen film?
Galaxy Quest.
That's one.
Toy Story. Toy Story 2.
Oh,
Toy Story 3.
That's not fair. He's voicing someone.
It's still a Tim Allen movie.
Fine. I concede.
And I'll say the Santa Claus is okay. It's weird that you murder Santa and you become Santa. The whole concept is backwards to me, but it's fine.
I mean, it's my dream job.
To murder Santa and become Santa?
Yeah, it's the first dream job is Santa Hitman. Second dream job is being Santa.
To embrace the Santa physicality, I think would be hard. Like nobody wants to be shaped like Santa Claus.
I mean, if you've seen 2024's The Red One, you'll know that
I've not.
That Santa's jacked. J.K. Simmons plays Santa, and he is jacked. He's got a whole weight room to work out in.
Now, at the dealership where I got my car, when I take my car in for service, there's a guy like who works for the service department who will take my keys, and he's like, his name's Steve, but he's like, call me Santa. And I'm like, yeah, you have a big white beard, but like Santa is not like a flattering name for somebody. It's like when you went by Fatty.
Yeah.
Where like people impose it on you.
Right. I wonder if he tells his wife that in the bedroom. Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho. Yeah. All right. So there's a darker side to Timothy. So at 10 years old, Tim Allen starts drinking. He claims he was inspired by movie cowboys throwing back shots of whiskey. He's watching a lot of cowboy movies. He saw guys riding horses. They're tying up their horses. They stop at the saloon for a shot. They ride off. And so he goes to a friend's house and he pulls himself He pours himself a shot of Jim Beam, and he said, "It was like I drank a bottle of gasoline." And he figured he needed more water to fix the issue, and he kept drinking and drinking. And in November of 1964, Tim Allen was 11 years old when his father, Gerald Dick, is killed by a drunk driver in a gnarly car crash. And he was really close to his dad, so it hit him super hard. Tim Allen claimed he loved his dad more than anything. And his family picks up the pieces and they move to Detroit, Michigan, where his mom remarried her high school boyfriend. So he's already got like a rough upbringing here. And after his dad dies, he describes himself as Eddie Haskell. It's a very lost and dated reference from Believe It to Beaver. He would tell adults what they wanted to hear, and then he would steal their booze and he would steal other stuff from their houses. And he claims he changed his name to Tim Allen after his time in school because he was bullied constantly for his last name being Dick. But he credits his tough upbringing with giving him a strong comedic voice and sharp wit that he used in his defense.
Boy named Sue theory there.
Yeah. You're bullied enough and it makes you tough?
Yeah.
All right.
Sure. I don't know. Like, I kind of get it. Like, I was fat in high school, and so I felt like isolated and alienated. And so like that time alone like allowed me time to like reflect and also like work on myself and work on things and projects. And like, because of that, I became like a good musician, which is kind of cool skill to have.
But you also had plenty of friends.
Yeah, but at times I felt very isolated and I was depressed a lot as a kid. And
yes.
Yeah.
Now, Tim Allen, he goes off to college at Central Michigan University, transfers over to Western Michigan University, and he gets his Bachelor of Science in Communications in 1974. During his time in college, he recalls lots of drinking, lots of drug use. He still tells stories of drinking to blackout in college and driving friends around in his car. And yes, he has shame around it now, considering how his own dad was killed by a drunk driver. Timmy starts doing stand-up shortly after he graduates in 1975 in a suburb of Detroit. And he actually started comedy on a dare. So I wish someone would dare him not to do comedy. Because it seems like he's a sucker for a dare. And when he started comedy, he was on cable comedy shows, local commercials. He was also an ad man, working in a local advertising agency. Then we get to October 1978. Our boy Timothy is 25 years old, and our boy is into the nose candy.
I thought you said he was into a dare. Apparently he's not into dare stay off drugs.
So he's doing lots of drugs. He's banging rocks, and he's working as a drug dealer to help pay for the decadent lifestyle he wants. According to the book Tim Allen, Overcoming Adversity by John Wachowitz, there was this undercover cop named Michael Pfeiffer who had been watching Tim Allen for months. And Tim Allen worked with him. He arranged a deal with Pfeiffer where Pfeiffer said he was going to buy 650 grams of cocaine for $42,000. That comes out to 1.4 pounds of cocaine. That's more than half a kilo of coke. I priced out the value based on what people estimate cocaine costs online, and it's somewhere between like $32,000 to $100,000 today for the 650 grams he had on him. So it's a lot of cocaine. And Tim is inspired by what he's seen on TV when people do drug deals. If you were going to do like a TV type drug deal, what would you do?
A TV type drug deal?
Yeah. If you were going to do a drug deal based on like what you saw on TV from drug dealers, what would you do?
Well, I would definitely do something like from The Wire, or maybe like Breaking Bad, because they actually have like good systems there with like underage runners who like can't get convicted, and they have a whole system, an ecosystem behind it.
Yeah,
it's a lot it's a lot better than picking up from like a guy, because a guy could just be an undercover cop. If there's like an ecosystem with like other actors in there who are obviously not cops, then you have a layer of security and a layer of assurance. I'm never
some kind of plausible deniability. Yeah,
I'm never just gonna go meet some random white guy with a buzz cut to deal him drugs. I mean, I don't deal drugs, but if I did, I would not do that. Like, come on, like he's wearing cop boots and boot cut jeans. You should know better, Tim.
Yeah. This guy with a buzz cut and cowboy boots is not your friend.
But Tim Allen watched all those cowboy films, so he's like, friend. Want to have a drink together, friend? Old partner, pilgrim.
So Tim is so inspired by what he's seen on TV when people do drug deals. So he goes to the Kalamazoo/Battle Creek International Airport in Michigan, and he stashes a brown Adidas bag of cocaine in a locker. He does the old airport locker move, and he hands off the keys to this undercover cop, Pfeiffer. And he had no idea Pfeiffer was a cop. But the rest of us, we see this coming a mile away because that's how the dramatic tension of the story escalates.
Mm-hmm.
Tim thinks he's getting $42,000. And instead, Pfeiffer opens the locker, and Tim Allen gets surrounded by armed cops with their guns drawn. He gets arrested. He gets hauled off to a jail cell where he spent 60 days awaiting trial. And he claims when he went to jail, reality hit so hard that it took my breath away. It took my stance away. Took my strength away. This is just, I don't know. It's just nonsense words that people write in a book because what else can they say? Everything else has been said of like, I was shocked to go to prison.
Right.
So our boy Tim, he gets to trial. And because he wants an easier sentence, he takes a plea deal.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted time off his sentence. So he approached authorities and he was ready to talk. And he did get his sentence reduced. He didn't want to do life in prison. He was ready to play ball. And from his crimes, Tim Allen claims there was a bunch of other college kids involved. And 2 of them, including himself, took the fall for about 20 people. And he knew a lot about the Kalamazoo drug scene and he was ready to talk. So he helped authorities indict either 20 or 21 people. Accounts differ on this one. And his actions resulted in the conviction and sentencing of 4 major drug dealers.
Snitch.
I think about this and I'm like, if I'm looking at life in prison, like, do I drop a dime? And I like to think I'd have the integrity not to, but I also don't want to do life in prison.
Here's the thing.
It's tough. Like, it's not commendable.
If you can't do the time, don't do the crime. That's all there is to it. If you can't keep your mouth shut, someone's going to shut it for you.
Yeah.
No.
In researching this episode, I came across I forget what it was called, but it was a video of people playing inmates who were like, well, it was worth it that he snitched on me. I did do 20 years, but we got to laugh at Home Improvement when I was in prison. And that's a great joke.
Yeah.
Now, Tim Allen's plea deal also got him transferred over to federal court instead of state court. And this was to his benefit because at this time in history, it's shortly after the onset of the war on drugs, which started in 1971. And in 1973, Michigan had just passed a law called the 650 Lifer Law for drug possession in Michigan, sentencing people to life in prison if they're carrying the amount of rock that Tim has on him at the time. It's the wrong place to get caught because this is one of the harshest drug laws in the country that would make him do life because he's carrying 650 grams, like just the requisite amount.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And the law was actually passed without any hearings or any kind of economic analysis. It was just put into place to send a message that we don't tolerate your drugs here, which is crazy that there was no analysis performed beforehand. It was just this bullshit, get tough type of law that people fancy.
Mm-hmm.
An emotional basis for the law. That's it. Of drugs bad, throw away the key.
Yep.
So the federal courts, they're going to be easier on Tim Allen after his wheeling and plea dealing. And he only gets 3 to 7 years in prison. And of this time in his life, he says that he was very contrite and he was living a very stressful existence. Do you feel sorry for him yet?
No.
Yeah, me neither. But apparently the judge found Tim Allen quite charming. Judge Patrick McCauley told him, quote, "There is a remarkable talent. Don't waste it. Be a man. Do your time. Then come out and do what you do best. I expect you to be a very successful comedian." You got to obey the judge, right? He was sentenced to be a comedian. We, as the public, were sentenced to listen to.
Yeah, we were. That judge has too much power. Trump should be calling for his impeachment.
So Tim, the Tool Man Taylor, he served his time in 3 different federal prisons. He says he just shut up and did what he was told.
Mm-hmm.
He learned to live day by day while incarcerated. And one memory he relates is of being in a holding cell with 20 other guys. He quoted, "We had to crap in the same crapper in the middle of the room."
No,
That's humiliating.
I had that same experience when I was getting booked in Colorado. Not kidding. Like, I was in a room of almost 20 guys. There was like maybe a 10 by 10 room at most, probably more like 8 by 8. And like a guy had to take a shit, and he took a shit in front of everyone in the room. And it was also like there was no air conditioning, and it was like a 95-degree day and humid. And so like it was a miserable experience for everyone involved.
Yeah. Conditions of cruel and unusual punishment should be explored here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. They also gave us bologna sandwiches with the Kraft single still wrapped in plastic.
So you bite into plastic?
Yeah. Like one of the guys like bit into his sandwich. Like, what the fuck? Is this plastic?
Now, Tim Allen is also quoted as saying, "I can't do this for 7.5 years. I want to kill myself." He even contemplated suicide, but he thought about how he would fail at it, and people would think he looked stupid trying to kill himself and not dying.
Gosh, if only I could have gone back in time to quell his anxiety.
Yeah, think about how stupid you look trying to kill yourself and failing.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what people think, but okay.
He was too egotistical to commit suicide.
Exactly. And he says in an Esquire interview that his life was saved when the comic in him showed up, the purest form of himself, and saved his life. And that is stupid and makes no sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Tim Allen also learned how to shut up in prison, which he didn't show the rest of us. He says in prison, "You definitely want to learn how to shut up." He also claims, "You learn to pick up soap with your feet. That's all I learned in prison."
Great. We know what he's getting at there.
Yeah, exactly. He's learning to wash his feet.
Mm.
So after about 8 months incarceration, Tim feels like he's pretty adapted to prison life. He says there were actually some okay times. He claims the first time he ever did what he was told and played the game was in prison. And he says Saturdays they received better food. He claims to have gotten along pretty well with other inmates, and he was known as the funny guy. So he was incarcerated in the unfunny guy prison. If he's the top of the hierarchy of funny guys.
Yeah, definitely. Like I that's definitely saying something about the rest of the prison population.
It's comedy prison.
Yeah, maybe they should give improv classes.
Yo, I would watch a movie like Sing Sing, but about inmates learning improv. Well, I would love that.
Oh, that would either be incredible or miserable.
I want both.
Yeah.
It could be both.
Just like improv comedy in general is either incredible or miserable.
He says he did have to adjust his humor a little bit in prison because they don't like sarcasm there as much. Apparently him being funny and doing funny voices is cool, but doing sarcasm didn't win him any points. But he was known for making the guards and the inmates laugh. And this feels like a weird retelling of the story because it's from Tim Allen's own account. When somebody tells, like when grandma would tell stories about, "Oh, and they just loved me," or "Oh, and they just laughed and laughed." I hate when people tell those stories about how funny other people thought they were.
Mm-hmm.
It makes the story so much worse. Just tell me the story of what happened.
Yeah.
Not, and then they laughed and laughed. I get it. If it's a joke that I think is funny, I will provide the laughter as well. When you were telling me said story.
Yeah, it's like a laugh track for old people.
Yes, exactly.
Like, clap, please.
They just want you to know how funny they are.
Right.
Just to know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, eventually, Tim goes from living in holding cells to getting his own cell. And he has a memory of calling home on Thanksgiving to talk to his mom after he got his very own cell. And he spoke of it like he was super proud of it. And his mother received it relatively well. That's a nothing part of the story, but it related to him in prison. He calls himself an F-up prior to prison. But prison grew me up, according to Tim Allen. He had been a really angry guy prior to prison. And he apparently was able to turn his experiences into comedy. Now, Tim Allen, remember, he was looking at life in prison. He ends up only doing 2 years and 4 months total.
Wow.
And he is released back into the free world in June of 1981 from the Federal Correctional Institution in Sandstone, Minnesota. And he was sent to Minnesota since it was assumed he would be safer from any enemies. he had made in Michigan.
Ah.
And he describes that time in prison as a wake-up call that put him in this position of great humility. He felt worthless and ashamed of what he had done and knew this wasn't the life he wanted for himself. And because he grew up quickly in prison, he wanted to get back out to the world and live his life.
Mhm.
But he found it difficult to work as a 28-year-old guy who was formerly incarcerated. And I do feel some empathy for him on that front.
Yeah. I mean, I don't feel any empathy for
Snitches.
but you know, yeah, people who come out of prison, they it's difficult to reacclimate to life.
No, for certain. And so he's finding it hard to get a job. So he gets back to work on the stand-up circuit because you don't have to have job qualifications for that.
Mhm.
And while he was on parole, he started doing local stand-up comedy events, and he actually got some work in a Detroit ad agency.
Maybe we should do background checks for comedy.
I think it depends on how funny you are. If you're not very funny, if you're Tim Allen funny, background check.
I mean, it could get rid of people like Chris D'Elia and T.J. Miller. You know.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea on that front, but I'm sure that there are some comics out there who've been arrested. I can't think of any off the dome, but Tim Allen he's a special case.
Special case, all right. Yeah.
For the listener, producer Brit was pushing buttons to no avail.
Hi, I accidentally hit the wrong button. I meant to do this.
Yeah, better.
Yeah.
So despite Tim Allen's shame around drunk driving that I mentioned earlier, it doesn't seem to have stopped him from doing it later in life too. While he was on Home Improvement in 1997, he was charged with drunk driving. I did not remember this part from history. Did you?
No, I don't remember that at all.
So dude was clocked doing 70 in a 40-mile-per-hour zone in his Ferrari, and he blew a 0.15 BAC. So that's pretty high. He was unable to recite the ABCs past the letter O.
I mean, do we?
Sorry, you were saying?
Yeah, I hope he did that for the cop.
I hope he did too. That would have been pretty funny, actually. He blamed his condition on having 2 Miller Lights on the golf course. He says his wife got hit by a golf ball or a golf club, so she was getting her head taken care of, and he went to go grab another vodka and orange juice, and then he had 2 more at dinner. And so he got a DUI, and at this point, he's been sober for over 25 years, and he's been staying off the sauce, and he said it's changed his life. So you know what? Good for you, Tim Allen. At least you're doing one thing right.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it didn't change his comedy.
Yeah, what if he had gotten funnier?
Yeah.
That would be to our advantage, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, he could have done the Steve-O thing and just made it his whole thing.
Oh, yeah, that's true. And instead, he's just banal and boring in other ways.
Right.
So while Tim Allen has entertained us with crap like Last Man Standing, Wild Hogs, Home Improvement, and his newest dud, something called Shifting Gears, where he plays a widower who runs a classic car shop, he's also given us some fine stuff like the Toy Story films, Galaxy Quest, and Jungle to Jungle. So it doesn't all suck. I suppose we might not have those if he had never snitched. So maybe his snitching excused by Galaxy Quest? Let me ask you that.
God, that's hard to say. I think other actors could have done it well as well. But Tim Allen is really good in the role. But no, it doesn't excuse his snitching.
It seems like everything he's on, like Last Man Standing and his more recent one, I've only seen a commercial for it. The one called Shifting Gears. It's the same kind of banal suburban dad humor where like there's a disconnect between him and his kid because he's too old fashioned, read conservative. And it's boring more than anything.
It's the Roseanne reboot, except he hasn't said anything incendiary on Ambien yet.
Yeah, just wait till he tries that Ambien.
Yeah.
So that's the story of Tim Allen going to prison. Like we were aware of what happened, but some of the extra details make it interesting. And for those of you who don't know, Tim Allen went to prison and he sold out a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. That he did.
What's your takeaway from this one?
I pretty much knew most of the story. My takeaway from it is Tim Allen's a snitch. Definitely not a good person. Definitely doesn't seem to really learn from his mistakes with the whole drunk driving several times thing. But he says he's off the sauce now. I don't know. Whatever. He's a whatever human being with bad politics.
Yeah,
I couldn't care less about him or any creative ventures he may have in the future.
likewise. He's one of those guys that, like, from what I was able to gather on his politics, he's more of a, like, he doesn't actually care about policy. He's a own the libs type of Trump supporter,
Right?
And it's just very uninteresting.
Mm-hmm. No, it's this punitive type of American politics that is incredibly boring to me and just shallow, completely lacking of nuance, completely flattened, and just like really, really for stupid people.
Yeah, it's lacking any kind of nuance or any real justification outside of emotion. There's no science to it.
Right.
And especially for someone like him, who he was about to go down because of get tough laws,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's this like sad irony where he spends his life now supporting people who are interested in putting get tough laws in for people who have committed other types of crimes.
A real kind of Gary Busey with the helmet laws situation there.
I'm not familiar. Would you entertain me and the readers with this?
Yeah,
please?
so back in the 1980s, I think like 1988, California was trying to enact motorcycle helmet laws. And Gary Busey put up a bunch of his money and time to rail against the motorcycle helmet laws. The same year, he was driving a motorcycle without a helmet and crashed and got pretty bad brain damage, which is why he's wacky now.
Oh, he's so wacky.
Yeah. So yeah, really. What was that tweet? I can't believe they ate my face, says lady who voted for lepers eating my face party.
Oh yeah. All right. There we go. Yeah.
Well,
Very up the same alley.
mhm.
I think the two of them would hang out. They're both goofs. Yeah.
Yeah.
At least Gary Busey's funny.
Yeah. I think Gary Busey takes himself a little less seriously.
Yeah, as we all should. We could learn a thing or two from Gary Busey in that one and only regard.
Probably, yeah.
Now, that's the story of Tim Allen. Shall we move on to our other main event, the main event of main events, the movie minute?
Let's get it.
Movie minute. Movie minute. 60 seconds with producer Brit to talk about movies.
Let's put 60 seconds on the clock. So, last time, Professor Bronson judged me to watch 1969's Take the Money and Run. So, Take the Money and Run, written and directed by Woody Allen, is a 1969 crime mockumentary and parody of prison films of the time, including parodying such films as I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang, which I had never heard of before, but also The Defiant Ones, The Defiant Ones, and Cool Hand Luke, among others. So the movie follows Woody Allen playing a man named Virgil from a young age where he's frequently bullied and shunned by his parents. He exhibits antisocial behaviors from an early age, and he's also this small, clumsy, socially awkward stereotype of a man who, to be fair, Woody Allen largely popularized in the first place.
The like nebbish, dorky.
Yeah,
I don't know.
you know, that guy.
Yeah,
Who somehow like lands beautiful women. That's the thing.
yeah.
That aren't his stepdaughter. So
But her too.
yeah, but her too. So even in the film, infamous groomer Woody Allen makes a confession in his writing, having his character sexually assault young women. Virgil grows up to be a failure and turns to crime, but is a failure at that as well, and fails his way right into prison. There's a bunch of gags and parodies of prison films in here, and a bunch of prison hijinks. He gets out of prison and fails a crime again, and goes back in, and then again. So it's just like him constantly failing in life, basically. A comedy of errors, if you will. Overall, this film was fine. Very of its time and very Woody Allen. It was kind of annoying just because I don't really care for Woody Allen or his style of comedy. The whole nervous little guy does physical comedy stick, which is something like if the Marx Brothers didn't fuck, is kind of what he does.
Do the Marx Brothers fuck?
Oh, yeah. Groucho, definitely. Groucho and Harpo definitely were laying pipe.
Is that a thing in the movies though?
No. Well, yeah. I mean, Groucho is, yeah, they're hitting on ladies in the movies.
All right. I've never seen a Marx Brothers.
Yeah, you should watch like Duck Soup at least. It's good.
Yeah, give it a look.
Yeah. So, yeah, but he's like if the Marx Brothers didn't fuck, or maybe only fucked people they really, 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 really should not. Overall, 2 out of 5 soups.
Well, that sounds somewhat unpleasant. And was it at least funny at times?
It was funny at times, but like not that great. Like, I don't know. Sometimes like the funniness wasn't like, ha! It was like, I guess that's clever. Occasionally.
Oh, I'm familiar. Yeah.
It's Woody Allen's style of writing. I don't know. Some people find it uproarious. I find it, that's a decent line. Like that's okay written. I just like don't love the delivery. I don't like the characters a lot of the time. You know, it's whatever.
Yeah, nothing that finds you like surprised by the comedy.
No, definitely not. I'm always like, oh, this is definitely a Woody Allen film. That's for certain.
Yeah, I kind of liked some of his dramatic films. Like I remember liking Match Point quite a bit.
Never seen it.
And yeah, it's some of his like 2010s films. When I gave it a shot, Annie Hall is good. I can't speak to much of the rest of his filmography as I just haven't seen it.
Hannah and Her Sisters in bad.
Yeah, I've heard that as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give that a look someday. But he, one of those scandal-noted guys.
Yeah, definitely. So, what you got for me next time, Judge?
Well, you've been in the doghouse long enough. Let's give you a little bit of an experimental treat here with the 2019 film Jesus Shows You the Way to the Highway. Okay. It's a film I started watching and I was like, whoa, this is too experimental for me. I think my brother would like this. Right. So I think you will at least get something out of it. And if not, at least it was weird.
All right. I'm into that. I'm into experiences where I'm like, I'm indifferent to that, but hey, at least it was weird.
Exactly. And at least this way you can give me your review because I'm curious. I've been curious to see what you would think of it since I started watching it a year or two ago.
Nice.
A little too weird for me, but I think up your alley.
All right. I'm into it.
All right. Let's close the books, close the doors, shut off the lights. Let's get out of here. It's time to go.
Yeah. If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And once again, a huge shout out to our lovely sponsor, Roger Williams University School of Justice Studies. And of course, the biggest shout out to leadership.
And criminal justice and legal studies and
other things too, I guess.
Yeah. That was good. I like the reverb on it, or echo, or whatever that was called. I'm not educated on these things.
Delay. Tom Delay.
Tom, go away. Like we're going away to prison. No, that doesn't work. All right, we're out.
Yep.
Lights out.